Gen Xers, Millennials, multi-generation. These are just some of the terms that we are going to hear in our session.
And welcome to the Leader's Edge, where we give actionable insights to help you thrive in a new normal.
A fantastic day to all of you. This is Sassy Casas, and I am happy to be back in this episode of The Leader's Edge.
We're here again to learn, because that's what we're all about. You see, we're all about learning.
We are in for a wonderful episode tonight. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 4.
And welcome to Leader's Edge Season 4, Episode 10.
Welcome to the Leader's Edge. And today, it's Season 7, Episode 8.
It's called the Leader's Edge. We are here tonight with another amazing leader.
Good day, everyone across the world. Welcome to the Leader's Edge.
Welcome to the third episode, Season 5 of the Leader's Edge.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Leader's Edge. And today is Season 8, Episode 7. And our guest is a very special friend, Yong Fookchyi, who will talk about diversity. So, Yong, could you please say a little bit more about yourself?
Hi, thanks Dino for the introduction. My name is Yong Fookchyi. I'm from Singapore. Well, I've spent about more than 25 years of my career in the public service, leading diverse teams in looking at transformation of organizations for sustained growth and built to last. I have been very passionate about diversity leadership because diversity is actually happening all around us. Just that we are not very conscious about it, just like we want to avoid it, right? But if you think about diversity, and later as I explore with Dino, my partner in crime in this whole topic, you will realize that you are really managing diversity. It's just the conscience of whether you are looking at diversity in its concrete terms. Thank you very much, Dino.
You're very welcome, Yong. And, as far as our viewers are concerned, because they're mostly HR and OD practitioners, let's start from the top and find out, for you, what does diversity mean?
Well, I would say that if you think about diversity, people will think about diversity in terms of race, in terms of age, in terms of gender, in terms of religion, right? But I would want to encourage all of us to look at diversity in other forms, right? Look at diversity in physical abilities. Look at diversity in life interests. Look at diversity in experiences and expectations. Now, if you think about diversity of this sort, it's already happening in your organization because today we are really managing a diverse workforce with different profile, different experiences, and different expectations. Now, I would say that leaders today recognize and accept diversity because of the demographics in labor force in our countries today. We have to accept diversity and we have to indeed welcome diversity. The question is, what should leaders do to ensure diversity works well for the organization to set them on the path of growth and sustainability?
I love the way that you introduced the topic because it resonates so much with some of my core beliefs and what I've observed outside, even before the pandemic. For instance, in Google, where they have people who are so broadly diverse, it's fascinating to watch it. And I'd also like to add very quickly that I once read this poster in an ad agency. It wonderfully captures what you just said. The poster said, which was in front of the GM's office, it said, "The day that everybody thinks the same way is the day that nobody's working in this agency." I just love that particular poster. So, Yong, I understand that in diversity, there is such a thing as a commitment statement. For you, what would a commitment statement represent? What is it?
Well, I would say that if you think about commitment statement in diversity, it's no different from the commitment statements we make about leadership, about service quality, about employee engagement. What a commitment statement does is to put our thoughts and our focus into actions and into words, and then direct our focus and energy towards it. Well, if you think about diversity commitment statement, it's a powerful statement to shows what the organization believes and what the organization will do with diversity.
Thank you so much for that. And I do love the fact that we are discussing diversity leadership because it is so appropriate, not just in business, but maybe even in this pandemic. Because if we only have one kind of person thinking about solutions, we're not going to find good ones anytime soon. So, for you, what are the key attributes of, say, diversity leadership?
Well, if you ask me what are the key attributes I can contribute about, say, 6 signature traits of diversity leadership that we should all be well aware of. First, think about cognizance or awareness and self-reflection. Now, being biased is natural and instinctive for all of us, but we need to know, we need to reflect and avoid bias being at all times. We should also stand up to correct ourselves if we have been biased, even if it's after the event. Second, think about courage. Leaders are humans, and we have our weaknesses and vulnerabilities. We will need to be open about our imperfections and areas of improvement, seek advice and guidance when needed, and share frankly our thoughts and perspective, though they may be preliminary and not finalized to generate discussions and deliberations. Leaders need courage to make decisions, to move on, need courage to admit course corrections if things does not turn out well. Now, third, think about commitment. Leaders need to put in their fullest commitment to do their job and do their job well. Commitment is most needed when the going is tough, when things are not smooth sailing. Leaders need to dig deep in themselves to demonstrate commitment to lead from the front. If you allow me more time, I will tell you the next 3 traits of leadership.
Go ahead.
Think about curiosity. Leaders should be open to ideas, hear the voice of employees, and experiment on breakthroughs. Leaders have to be curious and eager to learn new things and to be challenged even in their own areas of specialized expertise. Number 5, think about cultural intelligence. Leaders need to show empathy and acceptance to differences in culture and practices, leverage on the differences to create and deepen their strengths. And last but not least, think about collaboration. We all know working together is a more powerful and generate better outcomes for the organization. We will need to work harder to encourage and facilitate collaborations by way of leverage on diverse strengths and characteristics of the employees. These are my 6 contributions to the traits of diversity leadership.
Thanks so much, Yong. And part of me wants to ask, for the sake of the viewers, have you seen diversity leadership really work in a powerful way, say, from where you're at? Or can you cite, say, like an organization that has benefited immensely from having tried it?
Well, I would say that if you think about organizations today, most of them have started to embrace diversity in some form or another, right? And if you think about it, what is distinctive about organizations which embraces diversity leadership or diversity in essence is to encourage and embrace all types of talents and employees into the organization. Now, with different expertise, different experiences, different attitudes, different exposures, your organization can be very productive, can be very innovative. You spoke about Google, and Google is indeed a very internationally diverse organization. You speak about, if you think about Singapore as a nation, not Singapore as companies. Singapore embrace diversity. We want to attract all sorts of talents to come to Singapore, build on their expertise, contribute to Singapore's success. And I think if you think about organizations today, if you're myopic, if you start closing down yourself, you are losing your chance of getting talents from everywhere to contribute to your success.
Are there certain conditions, Yung, where diversity leadership are more suited and other conditions where it might not be so suited? Is that at all a possibility?
Well, I would say that if you think about conditions for diversity, one of the things that you have to think about is really the culture and the readiness of your organization, right? And indeed, this is what we always feel, when we think about HR and organization development. How to build a culture that is impactful, that is desirable. And now if you think about culture in organizations, you have to start imputing the culture of diversity. How do you accept diversity? Look at some of your policies and practices. For example, recruitment, right? If you think about recruitment and you put up an advertisement for a job posting, you do not want to say that you only accept people from some countries and not others, right? You want to scan yourself wide so that you have a chance to induct talents for any nation or any race or any gender. Right? I think I would say that if you think about the conditions for diversity, it's something that builds into your culture, it's something that builds into your processes and your procedures. And that diversities will happen. And I will say this as well. If you think about diversity, think about all the activities and programs that your organization is inducting and organizing for your people or for the employees. Think about diversity from the perspective that there are activities for the young and for the old, for the not so young, right? For the experienced and not so experienced. And when you start putting people together and everybody enjoying fun and create fun together, you are going to build a very lasting culture of diversity.
Oh, that is so enlightened, and it sounds like something that will make work less of a chore and more of a joy. And we all know that learning is, when it's learned in pleasure, is learned in full measure. And so, by extension, perhaps if people enjoy working in an organization, they'll probably be more productive because they're happy while they're at work. Yung, I'd like to explore briefly, how did your journey in diversity begin? Was there a time when you experienced something, as you said, myopic, and that made you that triggered this desire, for diversity to be embraced? Was there a time that happened?
Well, I suppose that's a very good question. In fact, what enlightened me to diversity leadership was a feedback from an employee, the voice of the employee, who tells me that, when you think about some of the things that you do as a leader, do think, the wide-ranging impact on the diversified workforce that you have. People of different age, people of different gender, people of different experiences, as well as educational profile. And when I reflect upon that feedback and the voice from the employee, it dawns on me that I have been biased towards some part of the organization and not the entire organization, taking care of their needs and their expectations, right? So I would say that, consciously, leaders need to take diversity very seriously, right? Because you want to earn the benefits of diversity and what I call diversity dividends.
You're absolutely right, because we're seeing this now, not just locally, but globally. We're seeing organizations, for example, like Tesla, SpaceX, under Elon Musk's able leadership, that's very open to a diversified workforce. He even famously said, I'm not as interested in degrees as I'm interested in people's competencies, their ability to do things. And so it just goes to show how successful organizations can become when they embrace diversity. And even in traditional industries, like, for example, say the military or say the emergency services, new ideas, new solutions, new ways, better ways of doing things can be possible when people are open to diversified ways of thinking. Yung, when you look at our new graduates, because us boomers, we're certainly making our own contribution, but the future really belongs to, the millennials and Gen Z after them. What words of wisdom would you like to share to the newer ones, to those who are now joining the workforce as far as diversity is concerned?
Well, I would say that if you think about the new entrants to the workforce, right, I would encourage them to be conscious about diversity because that's what the nature of the workforce they are entering to. But do spend the effort to contribute to the diversity in organizations. Now, just like you say, Dino, think about diversity from a perspective that you are actually putting into a pot of work where different experiences, different expectations are being brought into the pot for success, right? And if everybody knows how to leverage on their strengths and the advantages of each other, the organization will be stronger and will be more impactful. So when the young entrants join the workforce, as they put themselves into that pot, they have to learn how to work in that diversity range and also work. So I think that is the essence of when a young entrance comes into the organization. I would say that even when we think about diversity, we should bring a bit back from work to schools. When schools today, you already start thinking about diversity, right? Because you also want students or graduates to have different experiences and different profile. They are mixing with different people, right? And therefore, they have to learn how to embrace, welcome, and generate the benefits of diversity.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, as I'm thinking about everything that you're sharing, I'm also thinking about how the viewers may want to reach out to you, maybe to ask you for questions, or maybe if you are having special events, anything that you'd like to share. Are there upcoming things that you'd like the viewers to know about?
Well, I would welcome viewers to go to this website called hcs.com.sg, hcs.com.sg, and you will find quite wonderful programs and activities done by Human Capital Singapore to encourage organizations or encourage HR practitioners to think about and to learn about diversity management.
How do they get in touch with you, Yung? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you
Yes,
on...
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm LinkedIn on my own name, Yong Fookchyi. You can find me in the LinkedIn page.
Okay. Are you also, do you happen to be on Facebook or Twitter?
Yes, I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Telegram, all the social media of today.
Okay, so you're definitely very easy to find. And ladies and gentlemen, please do consider asking and reaching out to Yung, because if you're looking for somebody who understands diversity, none better than Yung. So Yung, thank you so much for being our guest today in the Leader's Edge. And so as we come to a close with our episode today, I'd like everybody to remember that coming up on episode 8 is none other than Abby Arenas, who's going to talk about finding joy. Now, that's another interesting topic in and of itself. So always remember, ladies and gentlemen, that for us, learning is a never-ending journey with limitless vistas. Good day.
Thank you.